Yes?
Good morning, citizen. I wonder if you'd spare a few minutes to answer some poll questions.
I'm always willing to contribute my opinion, so fire away.
Thank you. Question 1. Do you consider yourself a liberal or a conservative?
Well, I try not to, label things.
Okay, liberal. Good. Question number 2. What kind of music do you listen to most?
Oh, well, I like all different kinds of music. For example...
Okay, easy listening. Got it. All right. One last question. Did you enjoy participating in this poll?
No, I did not, because you distorted all my answers.
Okay, no opinion. Thank you very much for your time.
If you're going to conduct a study or a test, it's important to know how to do it right. Here's why.
Eric, can you share with our viewers the reason why Stone Temple does so many research studies?
I'd be happy to do that, Mark. We actually get a ton of benefits from them. So just some examples. First of all, it gives us better knowledge about how things work in the industry, and we think that's really invaluable. It's also led to many speaking opportunities for both of us, actually. And it really helped enhance our brand and reputation and visibility, and these are just really good things to do. And frankly, it's led to new business for Stone Temple, which is great. And they've really helped us build major media relationships, which feeds more into that, brand reputation and visibility stuff. And then, I can't change the fact that I'm an SEO guy, and we get more links as a result of that, which is really cool.
We won't turn those away.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but why should other businesses consider doing this type of research and publishing it?
Well, as I mentioned, and any business, I think, can get this benefit. It really helps to drive brand reputation and visibility. And of course, there's the links to your site. And the thing is that studies like this, research studies, play a unique role in that regard. So there's a story that, or really a study that was done by Moz and Buzz Suma that you and I have cited many times, where they actually surveyed, or actually looked at 1 million articles online to see what the correlation was between links and social shares. And the idea is if you get content that gets both of those, there's a pretty good chance that it's authoritative and it's the real deal, rather than if just one metric or the other is working for you. So in that, they found literally zero correlation between social shares and links when looking at the 1 million studies in aggregate. But when they actually narrowed that down to some very specific areas and different groups of sites to find out which ones actually showed a strong correlation, they found 2 remarkable things. Major media sites that put out opinion-forming journalism get a very strong correlation between shares and links. And so that's kind of cool to know, but for most of us, we're not major media sites, so maybe that won't work so well for us. Although it's a good idea to work to build your reputation to a point over time where you actually do have the kind of reputation where people care about your opinion. But you're not going to get that on day one. Even if you're an established brand, it's not instantaneous.
Sure.
But the other thing that they saw in the study was that sites that had a lot of research content, like Pew Internet, did extremely well with the correlation between shares and links. And that actually lines up very much with what we've seen in our own efforts. The bottom line of why this is important is if you do really high quality research and publish it, you can actually get the credibility built for you, where in the opinion-forming journalism, you have to build the credibility first. So it can help you get that credibility that you're looking for.
So it seems to me like probably what's stopping a lot of people is how do they go about picking a topic for a study or a test?
Yeah, it's a great question. And really the core thing to do is to start with the right upfront research, right? You need your topic to be something that is going to be, well, it's going to stand out and be unique enough and different enough from what other people have done out there that it will attract attention. And obviously core to this as well is it has to be of significant interest to the market. Because if the market doesn't care, there's lots of things that you could publish that are unique where they won't care. And then you have to be able to execute it. You can have the vision, wouldn't it be wonderful I had this data, but you might not be able to actually execute it. And then really the final thing is you have to be able to bring some credibility to it. And just so we don't confuse this with the point I was making before, the way you go about executing it is a big part of how you bring credibility to it, and you've got to be able to do that.
So let's focus on that for a moment. What are some things that you think are critical to the execution stage of a study?
Well, there's a few different things that you really need to think about. So really the first is you have to have a solid plan for collecting the data, right? If you're doing a survey, then how you're going to get your audience is one thing to think about. Or if you're looking at correlations between something like links and social shares or these kinds of things, how are you going to collect that data? You need to know that you can get the data in a clean and pure form. And then you need to find the right sources to get that data in enough volume so it's statistically significant, right? Don't take one example of something and say, oh, I've seen this thing happen. When I did this, that happened. I saw it once, therefore it happens that way all the time. Has to be in depth and credible. And then when you analyze the data, you need to inspect it ruthlessly to make sure it's clean and it makes sense. We do this all the time at Stone Temple, and I do a lot of this work personally, is I really dig into it, and I'm always asking questions. No, that data doesn't make sense, check into it. And then once you've done that, you have to ignore your biases. Like when you went into the study, you probably had a specific conclusion in mind that you were looking for, but as I like to say it, you have to let the data tell the story, right? And if you don't do that, and you let your biases interfere, then you're putting your credibility on the line. And you got to tell the story in a fair and balanced way. Don't leap off the deep end just because you get something that suggests something might be true, right? And if you can't do all of those things, people will know. I've seen some very reputable organizations, people publish studies where they didn't follow through on all these principles, and they took a lot of heat for it. Yeah. And they didn't get the result they were looking for.
Great points. Well, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, there's one other major thing to think about. It's all well and good to create this wonderful content and publish it, but it isn't really going to do much for you unless you promote it effectively. And you have to invest in your promotion plan as well. And that is something that you want to begin doing well before you publish the study. And you need to know who the people are that you want to get interested in sharing it on social media. You need to know who might write about it, these kinds of things, and do research on all of these. And then ultimately use social media to reach out to those influencers. And then reach out to the media people before it publishes. And when you do these kinds of outreach, please, please, please don't use minimally customized emails sent out as blasts to a bunch of people. Customize every single piece. I promise you, your effort per yes will go up if you send fewer pieces and do a lot more customization. It's incredibly important. But then you got to know that you got to start this process of outreach like a week or so before the study publishes. And just quick hack, if you reach out to a limited number of media people and you offer them the content under embargo, media people like that. They're getting privileged access in advance. Increases their chances that they're going to write about your content.
Thanks, Eric. And if you enjoyed this video, you got something out of it, you probably want more information like this. We've got a ton of it. Here's why. It's been going on for 3 years now. There's lots of great episodes you should check back on, but the best thing to do is hit that subscribe button, stay in touch with us, get every new episode when it comes to you. Now, Eric, speaking of studies, I got to do some work on our latest one. I'm doing a door-to-door survey, so I'm going to go get at it, okay?
I'm looking forward to it, Mark.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm conducting a survey, and I was wondering if
you again? This time, I have some questions for you.
For me, I'm the pollster. This is highly irregular.
Question 1. Are you a complete moron?
Wait, what?
So that's a yes. Next, blue and black dress or white and gold dress?
What dress?
Wrong answer. Finally, why are you talking to my door?
But I'm not... Hello, door. Would you mind answering some survey questions?